based on a cultural inheritance. In fact, I don't know whether Advaniji remembers or not. In the year 2002, one Kumar Bhattacharya had come to Advaniji's house. And we were discussing, Kumar told me, Guru, you are opposing privatization. You should not be opposing privatization. I said, I don't oppose all privatization. Of course, Himachal Pradesh government runs autos and taxis. They should be privatized. But there is no necessity to privatize railways in this country. Railways in India transports the whole of Australia in one day. You can't privatize it. So when we were discussing, I asked Kumar Bhattacharya a question. Which is the biggest public burden of the government in the West? He said social security. I asked him, can it ever be privatized in the West? When Mr. Clinton became the President of America, he appointed Hillary Clinton as a committee to go into privatization of social security in 1990, particularly health security. They came to the conclusion you have to privatize it. They also came to the conclusion you cannot privatize it, because to privatize social security you need families. You cannot create families by law. By a government order you cannot create families. It's not my saying. This is what Francis Fukuyama said. You can build an army, you can build a bank, you can build a cadre of employees. You cannot build families. They are built by culture. But the government can destroy families by its law. That's what they have done. And so privatization of social security is an impossibility in the West. So I asked Kumar, don't you think social security is privatized in this country? He said, Guru, if this one point is articulated by the Indian economists, Indian policymakers, Indian media, Indian leaders, in any part of the world, the balance sheet of the government of India will be more bankable than the balance sheet of any other country in the world. That is the power of the society. The society takes this burden. It's not only in India, in Japan. You know, in Japan, one of the things that the US economists used to talk about Japan is that your financial system is the worst because you are bank-based. We are market-based, that is stock market-based. And till 2008, Japan was keeping quiet. In the year 2009, they gave the answer. The Bank of Japan carried one-line reply in the website. The world financial systems are in distress. Japan is safe. You know what was the answer? I am going to read out to you a very important. This is what paper number 149, May 2009, Bank of International Settlement website. The Japanese Bank of Japan officials wrote, why do Japanese prefer bank deposits over risky financial assets when all financial instruments are well developed and traded in Japan, unlike in other Asian markets? The most complicated financial instruments are traded in Japan, not by Japanese. The Japanese go to savings bank account. Only 9% of the Japanese savings go to the stock market. You know why? Family. In Germany, only 7% of the families are investing in stock market. In India, only 3% of the savings get into stock market. It means what? That wherever there is family orientation, wherever there is relationship, the society takes care of much of what the government is called upon to do in the West, the Anglo-Saxon West. But today we are thinking of bringing foreign investment in pension fund. We must study Germany, we must study France, Italy, Spain, Japan. In none of these countries they allow equity in pension. It is all in bank. German runs one of the most successful bank-run pension systems in the world. But we are looking only to America. And there the pension fund have been invested in stock market. And when the stock market comes down, the pension values come down. The Standard & Poor 500 companies today have a $512 billion hole in their pension account because of the stock market fall. But nobody studies here. Because you don't understand the Indian society. Our savings habit is related to our culture, our way of life, our obligations, which is formed by relationship. The husband and wife relationships have been transformed into contracts. The maintenance of children have become subject of contracts. But how do you bring in, import that kind of economics into India? It's a mighty issue. So I am triggering all of you to think. Because there's a 30-year study of comparative culture-based economics, which I am trying to share with you in 40-45 minutes. It's not such an easy task. But one thing I want to trigger all of you to think is that the economic model which we are following is not global economic model, because the globe has other models also. But we are so skewed. Our education, our training, our English training, our love for the Western countries, particularly America, and the deep influence the American funding agencies have over our think tanks, our media, that makes us look at only one area, and that is proving to be a disastrous failure today. The American model is failing in America. The state and municipal pension funds have a $4 trillion deficit. Their health insurance is supposed to go bankrupt in 2019. Their social security, retirement benefit is supposed to go bankrupt in 2033. They are hoping for a miracle. We are looking at that system. We are not looking at Germany, which is the only country having budget surplus year after year. No other government is having in the world. We are not looking at them. We are not studying them. So my feeling is there is a fraternal, society-based, family-based economies in the world with which we share commonality. And our idea should be to have a wider understanding of the world with whom we relate culturally, socially, in filial models, and our economic model will be aligned to them. This enormous amount of work has to be undertaken by a mighty organization. It has to be undertaken by someone who can acquire power, who can change the thinking of the people by exercise of that power. And that responsibility, according to me, is on the Bharatiya Janata Party. And my appeal is that there has to be a constantly functioning think tank. It need not have to meet. It can be an electronic network where people put in their thoughts, but the only thing is people must read. Unfortunately, reading habit has gone down so tremendously in the last 1 decade or so. People don't even read 10 pages if you give it to another person. And the single qualification for admission into the think tank is everybody must read. And if we can develop some 100, 150 thinkers throughout the country, link them through electronic medium, bring them together, share their thoughts, we must become intellectual stormtroopers to present an idea that is essentially Indian. India is one of the most powerful and rising economies in which the family balance sheets are good, bank balance sheets are good, only the government balance sheet is poor. I will conclude my speech with what is the reigning economic models in the world. One is market driven, another state driven, third bank driven. State driven model has failed, that is a communist model. Equity driven model, the market driven model is failing. The only model which has been able to sustain is the bank driven model, which is of Germany, which is of France, Italy, Spain, most of the Asian countries, almost all the Asian countries, including South Korea and India. So we need to go for bank driven model and not market driven model, which is now called the reform. We have to reassess the very meaning of reform, which has undergone a change after 2008, and our job is very big. It is not very complex once you understand India. And I am happy that for such a serious and tough subject, you gave me such a patient hearing.